So in a sea of plastic bodies, Bluetooth, active noise cancellation, foldable designs, is there anything that makes the Bose 700 stand out further than the price tag? The Bluetooth community tends to make, sort of like a checklist of features. They say, okay, Bluetooth, active noise cancellation, it has an app that works well, pairs with multiple devices, voice assist and all that stuff. And they'll go look at, let's say B headphone, and they'll say, okay, that headphone also has all the features, but it's significantly less money. Therefore, it's the same product, but cheaper. And this I do have to disagree with. That to me is a bit like judging, a $40 headphone versus a nearly $400 headphone. They both produce bass, they both produce mid-range, they both produce soundstage, they both produce treble. So therefore they are equal. And that's not really the case. You have the quality of the components, yes, but you also have the quality of the capability of the actual device. And while sound quality for the Bose 700 is not really a big consideration for me because it's not the best, you do have a quality of components of the features like the phone app, which is actually one of the best phone apps. Unfortunately, I really didn't want to like it, but it works really well. But then you also have the ease of the pairing capability between multiple devices like my phone and my laptop and my computer, and it can switch between everything pretty much seamlessly, or the 11 levels of active noise cancellation and the quality of the actual active noise cancellation itself. Those things should be considered and drawn in comparison to other things more than just checking off a feature list. So real quick on this, and I've already kind of expressed my not so enthusiastic opinion about the sound quality of this, but I do want to run over it just to cover my bases here. So what you get with this is a slightly V-shaped, or more of a mid-range hollow, I would more claim, sound. It's okay in terms of volume for most things, but anything low volume, you are going to turn it all the way up to 100. So if you're watching a movie, for example, or listening to quiet music where there's a low part in the song, if you're trying to overcome other noise, on a plane or something, you're probably going to have to crank this thing, and it may not get loud enough, which is the one and only downside I see with this thing in terms of the actual volume output. Otherwise, I'm usually between a 70 and an 80% when I'm listening at medium loud levels. Now, when you put this on, the actual seal of this thing is great. And that's actually before you even turn it on and activate that ANC. And I find this to be one of the more impressive features where you don't even have to have the ANC on to block out a fair bit of sound. I can kind of hear that, but not super strongly. So the seal is good and the ANC is good. And in combination, it makes for a very isolated experience. Okay, but the sound quality. So the treble resolution is quite poor, but I do like the actual delivery. It's forward, but not too forward. It's not jamming down your ear or anything like that. It's not harsh. It's not sibilant. It just lacks resolution. And when those things lack resolution, they tend to also, and this is unfortunately subject to this, lack a little bit of timbre separation. So you hear chimes and tambourine, and from other characteristics like the actual pattern of the instrument, you can tell, but it's really hard to tell certain metallics apart. You can do it, but it's just not, it doesn't scream out in an obvious way like some other $400 headphones do. The mid-range is unfortunately pretty hollow, and it makes vocalists seem a little bit far away. It does kind of give you a little bit of room to breathe, and it's not a very fatiguing sound over time, which is one benefit if I had to give it any benefit. But overall, I just don't find the mid-range to be up to par with the standard. And then the bass response I consider to just be poor. And it's actually one of the more distorted regions. And it's also worth noting, when you get above 80 to 90, or those last two notches on your phone, this thing starts to distort everywhere. And I think to somebody just listening to this, especially for like a movie or something, to where you don't, and again, where you don't care about the sound quality, it's not really going to be noticeable, and it's not really going to matter that much. If you're just trying to get some kind of background music going and some background music listening, and you're not caring about the fidelity of that music, this is going to be fine. But from a technical perspective, I think the performance here is quite poor. And I think that the only thing that would make this remotely worth it for me is going to be the active noise cancellation quality. That feature specifically is its biggest selling point, is actually the thing that I think this headphone does the best. Basically, my recommendation comes down to this. If you're in an environment consistently where you need to block out sound, I think active noise cancellation is a must, especially if your goal is to really not hear much of anything at all, except for all the, somebody coming up and directly talking into your face. You can hear that. And this is not an exhaustive list, but it does include office noise, plane noise, train noise, car noise, basically any level of ambient noise that you want to block out. This does really well. The other feature of the active noise cancellation that I think is really good is its ability to stay kind of out of the way of the music. Now, the headphone itself doesn't sound that good to begin with. So you hook this up via 2.5 millimeter, which has a 2.5 instead of a 3.5 for some reason. But you hook it up via 2.5 millimeter into something, or Bluetooth, and you're not really going to be getting what I would consider $400 worth of sound out of this headphone. If you're an at-home listener and you're looking for $400 of pure just sound quality and you can do an open back headphone, I'd recommend something like this, which is the HiFiMan Sendaro, which is about $350 right now. And I'll link that down below. That is legitimately probably, I'd say, 5 to 6 times better in terms of sound quality than the Bose. So my recommendation here, I only recommend this if you place sound last on your level of importance. If comfort and active noise cancellation are ahead of that and you want a premium product, and I think for those features, I do believe it is worth the money, but only if you're going to use it constantly. If sound quality is any higher on your list, I would look at other headphones. Plain and simple. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I wanted to keep this short, sweet, and to the point, so hopefully I can help you make a buying decision. Until the next video, my name is Josh, signing off.